Hi and welcome. I'm glad you're here. Today's video is all about Q&A. I've had a couple comments and I thought I'd just kind of straighten some things out that might be misunderstood. We're going to talk about digestion and constipation and fat loss. So welcome in. This is Over 50 Fat Blast. I'm Connie, functional nutritionist, and let's get started. So I'm going to answer questions about constipation. It's a topic that nobody really wants to deal with, obviously, but there are some potential quick fixes, and I often talk a lot about constipation with clients. When you have a radical diet change, say you go from eating, standard American diet to really cleaning up your food choices and maybe go lower carb for fat loss, you will have less bulk in the stool and your body will respond sometimes by being constipated and hanging on to everything, especially if you're eating less and you're moving towards getting in ketosis. That means inflammation is like flowing off of your body and you're losing minerals, and magnesium is a huge mineral that will really assist in aiding in bowel function. So oftentimes I will suggest maybe adding a magnesium supplement into your diet. A lot of times, if you don't typically have constipation problems, just a quick fix with magnesium citrate could be very, very helpful. I think a magnesium blend with magnesium malate, maybe some magnesium glycinate. Magnesium oxide is also another type of magnesium that works, but often these blends of magnesium supplements will have a citrate in that. And what the magnesium citrate typically does is it draws water into the colon and allows more, an easier passage because there's more water in the stool itself. Of course, you always, when you're constipated, want to drink plenty of water. Plenty of water. And sometimes that's half your weight in ounces. You could also add in some ginger tea. You could add in more movement if you've been a little sedentary or you've been traveling and sitting on airplanes and not, having ample time to really utilize the toilet. Just something like more movement and more water could be helpful. But boy, oh boy, is it easy to just have a magnesium supplement with you and pop that at night. Magnesium helps you relax. It's a wonderful mineral that will always assist your body. The only contraindication of magnesium is a loose stool. And if you're constipated, well, that might be welcome. So I am going to suggest you try, if constipation is something that you struggle with, you try maybe 400 to 800 milligrams of a really quality magnesium blend. I will definitely recommend some brands that I prefer. I like Designs for Health, one of my favorite supplement companies. I think their quality is wonderful, and that might be helpful for you. Another great form of mineral supplement for constipation could be the Concentrace Minerals by Trace Minerals. These are fantastic overall, especially if you're doing more of a ketogenic diet, low carb and lower fiber, because you are eating less carbohydrates overall. You could really benefit from just feeling more vibrant with the Concentrace Minerals, and a couple droppers full would be sufficient. Sometimes if you have too many Concentrace Minerals, you will have diarrhea. And that's a good indicator that your body is saturated with minerals. So another topic that is hot and definitely interesting to me is stomach acid and digestive enzymes. A lot of times when you do clean up your diet and maybe add in more dietary proteins like meat, you might feel a little like your digestion just isn't cutting it and you're having trouble digesting. You're having trouble breaking down the foods that you're eating and you might be uncomfortable. After the age of 40, our stomach acid starts to dwindle, starts to wane. And with that, the body's bioproduction gets diluted. And we need bile and hydrochloric acid to break down foods, especially the protein foods, so that they can be absorbed as nutrients in the small intestine. And if your stomach acid isn't potent enough to break down the foods that you're eating, then whole molecules are larger than optimal. Larger molecules will be shuttled into the small intestine, and the microvilli in that small intestine won't be able to absorb the nutrients like we're supposed to. So as an aid to the digestive process, you might consider using a digestive enzyme. Digestive enzymes have, well, there's tons of different formulations, but a basic digestive enzyme, and I'll just say the enzymatic Digest Gold is a really great one that is easily found in health food stores and online, not hard to get. But the reason I like digestive enzyme is because typically it has a little bit of hydrochloric acid, and that's to increase stomach acid, which is sorely lacking in most of us. It also has the amylase enzyme to break down carbohydrates, the lipase enzyme to break down fats, and the protease enzyme to break down protein. So sometimes there's other components to these digestive enzymes that'll just boost breakdown of food. Of course, we want to chew our food well and eat slowly and relax when we're eating. Never try and eat a meal when you're stressed out. Check in before you sit down to that meal and put that fork full of food in your mouth, and make sure that your body's able to receive nutrition. Because if you're stressed out and freaked out, your digestion capabilities shut down and you're gonna feel awful as a result. So always consider adding in a digestive enzyme if it feels like you're bloated, if you suffer from constipation or diarrhea, if you have any GI upset or just feel sluggish. It could be a real game changer in the fact of just, overall breakdown of stomach contents. Other tools that aren't supplements for digestion could be apple cider vinegar, and you could mix a tablespoon or less in a little gulp of water before you eat or with your meal, or add more vinegar into your salad or your vegetables or your meats. That's going to really help to offer additional breakdown capabilities of the food. Ginger tea is great. Swedish bitters are more of a tincture that will accomplish the breakdown of food. And eat slowly, chew well, and be in a really good place before you sit down to that meal. I think that's why prayer is so beneficial as you sit down to the table after rushing around and giving thanks, taking a breath, collecting yourself, and being able to receive nutrients. You know, eating in the car on the way to work or in between this and that is a recipe for indigestion. We want to make sure that when we are eating, that our body receives everything necessary, because food is nutrition. And when we're spending so much time looking after our physical body, if we're not paying attention to digestion, then we're going to cause stress and inflammation and things that are unwanted and that don't feel good. So I'll just suggest that you consider having a digestive enzyme on board, and that might be a really good thing. Welcome back to my kitchen. I had a couple subscribers ask about some easy salad dressing recipes with healthy oils. I thought I'd go over a quick recipe for a vinaigrette that you could even put in a bottle and maybe a Ziploc bag and in your purse and take to a restaurant. That way you have a healthy option for dressing your salad and feeling really good about eating clean. This is a super simple recipe that I use often. It's my orange vinaigrette. I take about a half of a small navel orange or Valencia orange. I always use a mason jar, seems super simple. And then I take a little bit of vinegar. You could use apple cider. You could use a white vinegar. You could use rice vinegar. And I kind of match that. And I'm just eyeballing it. So a couple tablespoons possibly. I always add a Dijon mustard because it emulsifies it and keeps it all together. Probably just like, maybe less than half a teaspoon or so. I use a rub recipe. I'm gonna add that rub recipe into the show notes so that you have that. I use this rub on everything, you know, chicken to pork to salmon, and I use it in vegetables and my salad dressing. So I'm just gonna give it maybe about a teaspoon or so. It's got salt and pepper, paprika, a little garlic and onion powder, chili powder, dried oregano, basil and thyme. Super simple, super delicious. And then I'm gonna use a monk fruit sweetener because I like my dressing just a little sweet and sour and tangy. And the monk fruit has very little impact on your glucose. About 2 teaspoons, maybe a little more to your taste. And then we'll just whisk that together. I always taste it just to see. Yep, that's great. And then I'm gonna use half avocado oil and half olive oil, so we don't get that but again, I'm just looking at the volume in the jar and I'm just gonna double it, roughly eye it. Good. That was a little more olive oil, which is perfectly fine. And you can put a lid on this and shake it up, or take your whisk and get it emulsified, but it's gonna thicken up with the Dijon. And I'll taste it again. That's fantastic. Super easy. That's a delicious vinaigrette that you can have on salads. You could have it on your roasted vegetables, on your protein. I mean, I mix it with all kinds of things. And I think it's a super easy way. You could add some water to it to thin it down. And really, you can flavor it any way you want. So you can pour it in a little tiny jar and transport it to a restaurant with you so that you're eating clean, free of seed oils that are highly inflammatory, and you're feeling really good about eating clean. So in wrapping up this video and this conversation around supportive supplements for digestion and bowel health, I want to make you aware that I have a professional grade supplement dispensary called Fullscript. If you look in the description box below, you will be able to log in and create an account in my professional dispensary, and you'll be able to access all kinds of amazing professional grade supplements. I know you're trying hard to pull all the levers and be as successful as you possibly can with diet and lifestyle. I want to suggest that you or remind you to get your exercise. 30-minute weight-bearing exercise, YouTube or routine would be extra special, and definitely help your body help you with fat loss success. This is a time in our life that we're able to maybe spend a little bit of time on our physical body, building muscle, eating well, and doing all the things to support us so that we feel as good as possible in the aging body. It's not easy, and I definitely understand when you're not feeling great, it makes it harder to do all the things. But by paying attention, maybe creating a plan, figuring out that recipe for success, that's a wonderful gift you give yourself. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfection. I think that as you incorporate the next layer into your healthcare regimen, you will get comfortable with that and be able to, you know, push the envelope a little bit more so that you feel and can be as good as you possibly can be. Why not live in a body that you love to be in? So it's not all about how you look, it's more about how you feel, and having a plan and having a recipe for success is absolutely essential. Come for the weight loss and stay for the longevity. Let's biohack our way to success and figure out the little ins and outs of enjoying a really well-kept body. See you next time. Thanks for being here.